Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're talking about the game The Glade. This is how to set up, play and review, but slightly differently. It's more about how to play and review because we've just finished a 3-player game, and in this instance I'll show you what you're doing. But crucially, we are in the Glade. There are lots of forest animals. There happens to be, obviously, there are the animals. We happen to have some leaves, and we have some fruits, including blackberries and mushrooms and other such things. And on your turn, there are going to be 8 tiles that you're going to draw from initially from this bag, and you're going to play 1 to 4 tiles, and then once you've finished your turn, you're going to draw them back up again. So in this case, you are going to draw back up to 8, but I'm going to take my turn and play out this one. Why? Because like the game Quirkle, which you'll find on the channel too, it happens to match one characteristic. It must match at least one, or it can match 2. So I could match another squirrel, or in this case, a blackberry, or something like that. Or instead of this, I could choose to place it somewhere else, but in this case, just to say, I happen to place out these tiles. Now, if you happen to place out 3 tiles, well, first and foremost, I've placed a gap. If I never connect this gap up, I lose 1 point for not having this group connected up again. However, by placing out 3 tiles, it lets me place out one of my mushrooms. Now, everyone starts off with 1 to 12 laid out on their board, and they get played out as you go until eventually you run out, and then you finish the round, and it turned out that Julia happened to trigger the end, so I get one final turn, but James was the starting player. So what happens? I'll take one of my mushrooms from here, and you see there is one missing. The one missing is because there's 4 different animals, and there's 4 different leaves, and there's 4 different fruit. The one missing happens to be a squirrel, which happens to be exactly this one in this instance. So what happens is because there is one thing missing, and because there's not just one match, but 2 matches, i.e. we have got completely different items, different animals, and we've got exactly the same leaves, then you're taking your toadstool and flipping it over. If there's only one thing that's common or obviously completely different, then you're using obviously the single side. And then what you're going to do is find what's missing, in which case we know it's a dark leaf and we know that it's a squirrel, so it's going to go here. However, if there's one token already here, and it could be anybody's, you're going to take that token. In this case, you're going to basically place this down here, the doubler, because it's 2 things to match. You're going to take it and it's go into your store. The reason that's important is we'll get into scoring in a minute, and you score points if you have any of these tokens available at the end of the game. So what's going to happen is you can play in your board. You can also play on somebody else's board, but you can only do so if you are completing a set. So if I happen to find the 4th thing that goes here, which in this instance against different seeds or fruit, we have the same kind of leaf, and again a different animal, in which case we're going to need to place out that squirrel. So squirrel with that kind of leaf, different leaf, and that kind of leaf and that kind of different kind of fruit. So just so you know, if you want to do this action over here, as you see for completed set, that's that, or you place out one of yours. Now, you do have a bonus action, which is if you happen to land on a space, so you manage to place out a token here, in that instance, you can complete somebody else's stuff, put something over there. That's the only way you can take a separate action on your turn, an extra thing. So you're going to keep on doing that until, again, someone has played all their mushrooms. There might be options whereby I now complete this way, in which case, if it happens to be a run of 3 somehow, ignoring this one, but maybe that might work, then I can get an additional run of 3, which brings out an additional mushroom. So those things do cascade. I haven't done very well. I actually came second by doing these very small chains, as I didn't get very lucky with my tile draws, and I think that's part of the game. So then we look at the scores. So you see 1 point for each of your mushrooms in the center of the glade. So that's up here. You then go through 1 point for each taken by your opponents. You're getting points that way. So my points, so I've got a point over here, etc. And some more points over there. Then you're getting 2 points for each player in your store. And then you're going to do 3 points for each in your enclosures. So Julia over here happens to have an enclosure and happens to be one of mine. And that's good. And then in this case, 1 point for each of your doubles. So I've got obviously some doubles over here, some more points going on over there. So that's how that works. And then we're not playing the matching game, but that's available too. And there are some other components you're going to play with. This is the spring summer board. So that every animal, every basically tile is identical somewhere else, whether it be a summer or a spring one. And ultimately, this is a very crunchy game. This game takes, it says about 60 minutes, but I think it's a lot longer than that. And yes, it is very thinky, very cute, beautiful components, lovely artwork, and it's not quite what you might expect in terms of obviously the puzzly nature. But if you like games like Quirkle, check that out on the channel. I think it's going to be right up your street. And like I said, there's some interaction going on with other players' boards. Just bear in mind, you've got to be very careful to make sure you're playing everything the same, or everything, obviously 2 of the 3 things the same, or everything being different, but 1 thing being the same. So that is basically how the game goes. Any questions, let me know in the comments best on YouTube, as this is shared. Obviously, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Join the discussion over on Facebook as well. Head through to Instagram, over 4,000 followers at time of recording. That's via the description. YouTube, over 3,200 posts. Also, support the channel via Patreon. Head through to the podcast via, again, that description. YouTube. And yeah, they're via Linktree. There's occasional competitions, but they are time sensitive, so they do disappear. And lastly, yeah, any other questions, speak to you soon. But for now, back to the table.